Hey, it's Aaron here from Fossa, and in today's video we're going to be looking at how to create and how to use your own home gym so that you can get the most out of your training. So firstly, let's look at why even training at home is a good idea in the first place. Well, for one, it cuts out any unnecessary travel time that you have to spend traveling to the gym or from the gym. One of the biggest roadblocks that a lot of people have to staying consistent with their exercise program is actually just the travel time, is getting to the gym, getting from the gym. If we can close the proximity between you and your training, it makes it way easier to stay consistent with it, and it makes it more likely that you're going to stick with it. You're going to get better results as a result of that, so it's a win-win. The next thing is it allows you to train without the judgments of others. See, when you train in a regular gym, it's very easy to get caught up worrying about what other people may or may not be thinking about what you're doing. Especially if you're new to exercise or you're learning something for the first time, it can be quite daunting, it can be quite intimidating if you're not sure about what you're doing. So training in your own space removes this entirely. And then my personal favorite is you can play whatever music you want to at the volume you want to play it, without worrying about what other people are going to say or their own preferences. When you train in a regular gym and they're playing the music for everyone to listen to, you just have to settle with what they're playing unless you want to put earphones in. Sometimes that can be a little bit fiddly, depending on what you're doing in your workouts. When you're in your own space, you have complete control over what you're playing. So let's look at some common myths about training at home. The number one thing that a lot of people say to me when I do talk about setting up a home gym is, oh, I don't have the space to do that. I need a lot of space. And this usually comes about, we've all seen the clips on Instagram or the videos on YouTube of people training in their home gyms, and these people have got a lot of space, they've got a lot of equipment, and they seem to be, going from here to there, doing all of their different workouts, and that can sort of send the wrong message sometimes to you if you're starting out. What you don't see is where those people began their journey training from home. A lot of the times, they just start out with a really small space, a really limited amount of equipment, and they get going that way. A small space in the garage, a room in your house, or even under a pergola all make great spaces to train in. The next myth is that you need a lot of equipment. A simple pair of dumbbells will do wonders for you, and you'll be able to do a lot of different things with those dumbbells. You don't need to have all the barbells, all the plates, and all the space, and the racks, and everything, and benches and stuff, especially when you're beginning. Just starting with minimal equipment, getting used to that, getting really dialed in is often a really good way of making it progress. The key to getting the most from that is the key with no matter how much equipment you've got, it's making consistent small progressions with the weights or the reps that you're doing. It doesn't matter how much equipment you've got, as long as you follow these small progressions, you will see progress from that. Next myth is that you're going to need lots of different bits of equipment so that you can do the program that you've got. Well, the program should be catered for what you do have. If you're getting a program that's designed for being run in a gym with barbells, with weight plates, with all kinds of different machines, then it's going to make it much harder for you to succeed. You're going to have to think of different substitutions, and you're going to be constantly changing things, and that chews up with time, chews up with brain space, and it affects consistency. A program that's designed for you and for what you've got access to is going to really help you. And that's actually what I do with my clients. So the clients that work with me online, they tell me what they've got, they tell me how much space they've got available, all of the parameters. I then factor that in, create the program so that they can just do that program with what they've got in the space that they've got available. That way there's no mucking around, they can just get in, get what they need to done, and still make progress. So moving on to making progress, what about your training? How are you actually supposed to get results if you don't have a lot of equipment? Simple is often better in the beginning when you don't really have a lot of equipment, because it keeps you focused, it keeps you dialed in, and the only things that really change are the small progressions that you're going to be making, and that's exactly what the key is to making progress long term. If we're trying to change things up and chop and change between different pieces of equipment, that can serve as a bit of a distraction, especially if you're new to exercise or you're getting back into it again. You just want to keep things focused. You want to get in, do what you need to do, and then get out. I'll be making some more videos on how to actually make these simple progressions using dumbbells, how to actually get the most out of your dumbbells, so that if you are in between weights, let's say for example, you can still get progress from those weights that you've got available. I'll show you how to actually do that with what you have available. The next thing that I get asked about making progress when training at home is, are workouts in place effective? Will I get results from doing that? And a workout in place is simply just having a pair of dumbbells and you're not really moving around much. You're just doing that workout in place. And the short answer is yes, absolutely. Again, if the program is set up right and it's designed and catered for you and what you have access to, and it's already got those built-in progressions, you will make progress, and you'll probably make progress quite quickly. If you really think about it, when you go to a regular gym and you're training with, barbells or dumbbells, you're actually working out in place. You're just moving from spot to spot within the gym. But once you're actually doing the exercise, majority of the time you're standing in place. The exception to that would be if you're wanting to do something like CrossFit, or you've been training at a CrossFit style gym. They often have lots of different pieces of equipment, lots of different things in the workout, which then requires you to go from different points, and you need a lot of space for that. If you are considering doing that as your training, you probably will need to factor that in. So let's talk about equipment. Where should you start? What should you purchase first? How to get going with all of that? As you can probably tell, I'm going to recommend you start with dumbbells. Dumbbells are the easiest thing to find, number one, but also to use in a small space. Like if you don't have a lot of space available, dumbbells are going to serve you quite well. One recommendation I would make when you're buying dumbbells is look for 3 pairs ideally. You want a pair that's fairly light for you, you want a pair that's a challenge, and then you want something that's a little bit beyond where you might be at the moment. And the reason for this is it gives you variations in all of your workouts that you're going to be doing. So if an exercise calls for lighter dumbbells, you're going to have those dumbbells on hand. If an exercise calls for something that requires a little bit of a heavier weight, you're going to have that on hand. It's just going to allow you a lot more versatility than just one pair of dumbbells. So as an example, and again, these are just starting points. Everyone might be a little bit different. You might be different to this, but these are just some recommendations from what I've seen. For most guys, 3 pairs of dumbbells might look like a pair of 7 kilo dumbbells, a pair of 12.5 kilo dumbbells, and then also a pair of 17.5 kilo dumbbells. For many women starting out, this might look like having a pair of 5s as your light pair, a pair of 10s for the mid-range, and then a pair of 15s for something heavier. And have a goal of building up as you go. As you get stronger, you're going to require heavier weights, and you'll be able to purchase these when you need it. There's no point trying to go out and purchase all of the dumbbells all at once if you're just starting out. You want to just start where you're at and just build as you go. The other thing that I will mention here as well with the dumbbells is don't fall into the trap of using the same pair of dumbbells day after day, month after month, year after year. If you do that, that is the fastest way you will stay in a plateau and you won't make any progress. You want to be constantly looking for ways that you can push yourself just outside your comfort zone just a little bit. The next thing you want to be looking at is a bench. Preferably one that inclines, and if you're lucky enough you can find it that also declines as well. This is going to be the better option than just a flat bench. However, if that's all you can find, a flat bench is going to be great as well. And this is going to expand the number of exercises that you can do with the dumbbells, and then also other exercises without the dumbbells as well. You can just use the bench as a piece of equipment. The next option is one that not a lot of people actually have and not a lot of people think of, and that's using a sandbag. Nothing quite builds the usable strength as much as a sandbag. The trick to it here is buying a sandbag that's actually designed for a heavier weight. So a lot of the times you can either get pre-sized sandbags that are designed to hold a certain amount of sand, aka weight, and what you then do is you fill that bag to where you're confident using that bag. So it might be only half full. You use that, and as you get stronger, all you simply do is add more sand to the bag. It's really cheap, it's effective, and it's a really, really great way of getting really strong really fast. There's also a ton of different ways that you can use your sandbag, and you can use it for different things. And I'll be creating some more videos about this specifically in the future as well. So from there, once you've got your initial starting pieces of equipment, you can then look to start expanding your gym. It's completely your call as to which way you go and what you buy next. Depending on your space, you can quite easily fill it up with things that are going to be really effective, and you can also fill it up with things that are not going to be quite as effective and that will often turn into storage for junk and for other things that are around your house. You've probably seen time and time again, most people who purchase a treadmill, that ends up being just somewhere where they hang their clothes or they store boxes on there and it never gets used. You don't want that to happen with the equipment that you buy. So some ideas at this point, so some extra things that you can expand on once you've got the basics covered. More dumbbells. Having a range is going to be a really good idea, and it's also really good if you've got workouts that require you to use different weights. That's going to be really handy for you. If you don't have the space to keep multiple pairs of dumbbells, buying the ones that are actually adjustable is often a really good idea if that's going to work for you better. There's a lot of different options with those ones, and it makes it quite easy for you to adjust the weight and to cater your workouts to suit. The next one is suspension straps, kind of like a TRX. These can be attached either on a doorway or to a post or a pole or anything that you can strap it around. And it makes it really easy to get in bodyweight style workouts, so things like inverted rows and even push-ups. There's a lot of different things that you can do with these suspension straps. They're really good and effective if you haven't yet got to the point where you can do chin-ups or pull-ups and you want to train the muscles of your back. You can do inverted rows using the straps, and allows you to adjust your foot position to make it easier or harder. The next one would be a pull-up or a chin-up bar, or some apparatus that allows you to do pull-ups or chin-ups. Most of the time, just a simple pull-up bar will do the trick. It's a simple exercise, but it is really, really effective. And then of course, you've got barbells and weight plates. These can definitely expand your gym quite a bit. However, they're not essential. You do need more space when you have barbells and you've got weight plates. You've got places to store them. A barbell is about 7 feet long, so you're going to need a lot of space to use that in. Yes, it allows you to do more exercises, but at the same time, if you don't have the space available or it's not within your budget, this might not be an option worth exploring until later on. That's just something that you'll need to factor in. So all in all, it's an easy enough process to start creating your own gym and to start training in it. With the right program to follow and the right music to listen to, it's also a great way to make some serious progress towards your goals. If you're wanting to train at home and you're wanting a program that actually caters for you, the equipment you've got, the space you've got, and what your goals are, that's exactly what I help my clients with who work with me online. If you'd like some help, I'll put a link in the description below where you can find out more information about how that all works and stuff. If you have any questions about anything we've spoken about in today's video, leave them in the comments and I'll answer them for you. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.